Hello and welcome to the show. I am back here on Forza Horizon 4 building another car to take on the hill climb stage. Now, the vehicle of choice today, as voted for by you in the last video, is going to be the Chevy Bel Air. Not really what you'd call an ideal vehicle. When it comes to hill climbing, we want small and light, and this is giant and heavy. The plus point, there are a couple of plus points. There are a couple of plus points to the Bel Air. First of all, it's likely to have a lot of power, which is quite nice. Second of all, it's going to have very big rear tyres, which is also really nice. We will probably have a lot of PI to play around with, so that does help. We will have the full race tyres, because the vintage race tyres on this are actual vintage tyres, not the lovely super grippy ones that you can get. But yeah, we will have full race tyres, and we will have big tyre widths. They are 2 8.5s at the front, which is very nice indeed, and 3 4.5s at the rear. And these classic American cars can do okay climbing the hill. We've seen the Mercury Coupe. It sits inside the top 10 at 26.5 for that car. So, I mean, it might not be completely awful. It's not going to challenge the Lotus, no, but it might not be completely awful up here. Now, we will be wanting Forza Aero on the car. We'll come back to the rest of the stuff in a little while, because there are more important bits that we need. We need brakes. We need, not drift suspension, but we do need race suspension. We're going to put the car on the, well, it's basically scraping at this point. We will want roll cage. We will want full-on weight reduction. We get it down to £2,900, which is not too bad. The potential issue we might see with the Bel Air is, I say the potential issue. So the cars will be run with their standard engine if their standard engine gets them to the top of, okay, we'll go for that gearbox. That saves us a bunch of PI. If it gets, the standard engine gets to the top of A class, they have to run with their standard engine. If it doesn't, then we can swap them out. Now, I think the Bel Air standard engine probably will get to the top with the help of some turbos, but it's probably not the best engine to be working with here. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, okay, so this will get to the top of A class. Actually, without too much trouble, we will get it to the top of A class, which is interesting. It's not going to have as much power as I wanted, actually. I was hoping for quite a bit more to go with the big tyres. As I said, I know we have big tyres on the car. Oh, that's that. Then we will go for, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's got a lot of torque. There's no doubt, there's no doubting that. 373 horsepower, 470 near enough torque. Down to 2,800 pounds. So weight-wise is, I mean, it's more under control than I was expecting initially, perhaps. Because, well, I mean, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse for a big car like this one. We might even get it under 2,800. Oh, not quite. It'll be 2,801 for the Bel Air. It's an interesting prospect. You guys pick interesting cars for me to have to try and drive up the hill. Yeah, torque, very good. Power, not too bad. Weight, not as terrible as it could be. And we've got massive, massive tyres. Handling is likely to leave a little bit to be desired, and it is, I mean, just a vast car when you're comparing it to a 340R. But yeah, I'm hoping it can be like the Mercury and give us a surprising time. So, here we are on the start line with our Chevy Bel Air. I will be having 3 attempts up this mountain pass to try and go as quickly as possible. Now, the current record is a 123.6. We're not going to be beating that, really. I'm looking to try and get this into the 26s if I can. If we can go any faster than that, great. If we can go past the, about 28.2, I think was the Eldorado's time. If we can get perhaps a little, I don't know, between this and the Mercury Coupe, I feel like this might be a little more sensible than the Eldorado. Yeah, that's the sort of time we're looking at. Into the 26s would be good for the Bel Air. I can immediately tell you there is a lot of understeer in this. There's a lot of understeer, like that sort of, there's a lot more understeer there than I was prepared for. Yeah, it does understeer a bit. Now, there is a lot of grip at the back, which is nice. It means that I can get into this corner and I'm just flat out the whole way out of the turn, and there's no problems with that. And I like having that level of traction. I mean, we're not bad on the exit there. Really, like, actual corner exit speed isn't too shabby. And this is going to be a terrible run because we had a spin or had to miss it. We missed the checkpoint and whatnot. However, I am I'm pleased the way it drove. In a weird kind of a way, it's not actually all that awfully difficult to drive. You've just got to be aware of the massive understeer if you've got on the power too soon, because it will, weirdly, it will tend to understeer before it oversteers. Again, works for me, works for my driving style. You've just got to be prepared for all of that. 2 more corners to go, and that will be that for the Bel Air. I mean, there's obvious room for improvements from mistakes, but I think it is probably not going to be that far away, perhaps, from the Mercury Coupe that are across the line. Yeah, it's a 34. In fact, with a spin and having to go round to re-get the checkpoint, we beat the Iron Knight, and we were only a second slower than the BMW M4. So, you know, there's hope for the Bel Air-ish anyway. Well, obviously we need to not miss a checkpoint on this second run with the Chevy. I think I'm going to have to, well, knowing I can't quite get into the corners so well, we're going to have to focus on corner exit. That's where the speed is going to be found, I suspect, in this car, because there is a decent amount of power, good amount of torque, and we have the traction to make the most of the corner exit. So we might, well, we will probably have to be better off just focusing on, well, where the car is strong, which is going to be these acceleration zones, hopefully. I mean, I suspect the 340R is still going to be faster accelerating than this. It won't at the top end, of course. 340R has. I say that, actually. 340R did only have about 200 a bit horsepower. However, it's probably better aerodynamically than the Bel Air. The Bel Air, not the best aerodynamic shape. It's a pretty car, not the best aerodynamic shape in the world, I will say. Now, what are we going to be able to do? I think I'm going to have second through here, aren't we? Just patience, 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 patience. Then we can go for it on the exit. Yeah, it gets out of that turn at a remarkable amount of speed now. Slow it down up here. There might be a little bit of wheel spin. I don't even know if that was... There was smoke, but I'm not 100% convinced that was from the back of the car. I think we had smoke pouring off the front. We have seen that in a couple of places, from a couple of cars even. We've had smoke pouring off the front of vehicles trying to get turned, although not too much. Yeah, I'm impressed. Again, we have very big race tyres on the car, and we don't have as much ludicrous power as you could have, but I am impressed with its ability to... I'm just flat out of every single corner here. I don't think I've had to be careful with the power once. I mean, this is the most it's moved around on the final acceleration zone. It is... I mean, it's a much better run, of course. We did a 1:28.0. So we are a little bit of a way down on the Mercury Coupe, although we are actually very, very similar to the Cadillac Eldorado. And we are talking tiny, tiny fractions in it, slightly in favour of the Bel Air. Can we get into the 27s, though? Well, this is it. The final run for the Bel Air. I'm looking for a tiny, tiny amount of time. If we really want to get into a 27, it may well be doable. I think a big jump forward might be quite difficult for this vehicle, as sensible and as surprisingly nice and composed as it is out of a corner. And we just do not have the perhaps mid-corner grip, because, I mean, it's a very old car, and we're asking it to do something that it was not really designed for. You know, you ask a Lotus to go up here quickly, and that's expected to be quick. You ask a Bel Air to go up here quickly, and it's expected to be wallowy, and it's not wallowy, but it's just not the best vehicle for this sort of a task, shall we say. I like driving it, though. I like having it as planted and stuck to the road as it is. We're a little bit wide there. Come on, Chevy. We have got, well, plenty of run to try and make up a few thousandths, a few hundredths of a second here and there. It's not... Well, we still managed to get that decent enough exit through there. Now, we've had a little bit, well, a lot of bit of understeer through here. Let's try and not excite the rear tyres. Don't clobber any of the bollards on the way through. We can be flat up here, which is quite nice for our car. Make some speed on the, well, a few straight bits, a few acceleration zones. Now, don't go on the grass, preferably. You'll lose a little bit of time. Don't go on the dirt on the exit, again, preferably. I think we got away with that spinning. We didn't really spin the wheels, despite bobbling slightly across the gravel there. We are into the hairpins now, and I think we are going a little faster on this run, which I am pleased about. One more corner to go for the Bel Air. Be patient with that throttle. There we go. It actually is a bit of a wheel spin, a bit of oversteer towards the line. We got it into the 27s. There we go. I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with that. We got the time. I think we got the time I was looking for. 1:27.699 is not too shabby a time, really. Again, you've got to bear in mind the car that we're running up here. That is not a vehicle that was built with narrow hill climbs in mind, built for ultimate handling. It was supposed to be very big, very comfortable for long journeys and whatnot, and have a nice V8 and so on. It's, yeah, it's done remarkably well, I will say, for the Bel Air, because that time is going to put the vehicle into 15th place. It beats the BMW Z8, it beats the Cadillac Eldorado, it beats the Sunbeam Tiger, the Chevy Monte Carlo even. It does lose out to the 205 T16, but when we're only a fraction down on the 205 T16, and put this into perspective, we are 0.2 down on a Honda S2000, and similar amounts down on the Focus RS. So, you know, that's pretty damn good going. Although, in terms of the big American boats doing surprising stuff, as I said, the Mercury Coupe earlier, that's on a 126.5 up here. That's a second faster than the Bel Air. And, well, the base car, the Mercury Coupe and the Bel Air are fairly similar in many regards. So, yeah, the Mercury still probably the ruler of the American barges up here. But the Bel Air does remarkably well. So there we go, a car that I suspect you all thought was going to be very, very silly. Actually, yeah, worked pretty well. Worked pretty well indeed. That, though, is going to be it for this video. As ever, if you have vehicle requests, cars you would like to see take on the hill climb stage for next week, please do leave them in the comments section below. The most liked comment, provided it is a car that I can afford and have and fits within the category and so on and so forth, shall be run. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.